Greetings, wonderful viewers, wherever you are watching from. This is Atlantic TV, the home of TV revolution. As I always tell you, we're located in the little smiling coast of West Africa, that is our mama land, the Gambia. And lucky enough, our studios located in the West Coast region side of Gambia, here in Farado. Welcome to another exclusive interview coming to you live from Atlantic TV. My name is Bakary Manneh, fondly called Big Sam, and I bring you another wonderful program today on this medium, exclusive. Remember, in this program we bring, like I always tell you, people from all walks of life, government, NGOs, human rights activists, religious people, sports, men and women, all walks of life. And most of the important thing is the message that they put across, the inspiring message, the positive message that you watching out there or listening can definitely get it. And today, I am happy, although it takes me a while to get this gentleman right here in the studio. I've been struggling hard, but alhamdulillah, thank God I got here in the studio. My guest, as you can see from your screen, is no other than Madi Jobarteh, the executive director, of course, of the Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice, and also a human rights activist. Mr. Jobarteh, welcome. I must take your hand because it takes me quite a while to get here.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. First time I see Atlantic TV.
Yeah.
And I'm happy it's in the community.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm happy to be here. So I look forward to an interesting
program.
Conversation, yeah.
All right, but before we go, Mad, as I always do, maybe you have people, family, friends, workmates that are watching right now. You can greet them before we go. Well,
greetings, yeah, to all the people watching. To say very good morning, Thursday morning, I guess.
Yeah.
The weather is good. I hope it remains that way. But yeah, I mean, giving everyone a shout out and best of wishes, and to have a great day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jobarteh. As I earlier alluded, he's the executive director of Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice. Maybe we'll touch a little bit on that. But first and foremost, as I do, because many people out there will say Madi on all other platforms, even on yesterday's gala at the Westfield. But can you tell us a little bit about, because I want people to know, people that have leadership or in front of them, or that are leading them, or that they preserve as, call them leaders, etc. Who is Madi Jobarteh? Can you tell us a little bit of Madi, born, where, the name, etc. A little bit. If you, just give us a tip.
That's a difficult question for me.
Okay.
I don't actually like to talk about me.
Okay.
I like to say I'm not the issue, and I'm just one of the 2 million Gambians or so,
okay,
who has found it a duty,
okay,
to stand up for the country, to pursue the best interests of the country,
okay,
as required by the Constitution.
Okay.
In the Constitution, Section 220, there is a whole section on the rights, on the duties of a citizen.
Okay.
But also in Chapter 4 of our Constitution, there's a whole section about the rights of citizens. So whatever I do is based on the Constitution. So I was born in the Gambia, but since you asked,
yes,
I was born in the Gambia.
Okay.
In a small but old village,
okay,
called Boraba.
Okay.
In CRR.
Okay.
But I lived most of my life in the Greater Banjul area. As a disadvantaged, underprivileged parts of the country at the time and until now.
Okay.
You realize that a lot of us would have to come to the Greater Banjul area to go to school.
Yeah, sure.
And even to get employment. And which is all part of the issues that we deal with. Because if you have a country called the Gambia, all parts of the Gambia deserve that level of development that would not have to, make people have no choice but to move to another part of the country. So that kind of stunted or, development is what legitimate issues that we fight for justice, for equality, So that's where I was born and raised, lived most of my life in the Greater Banjul area, Banjul, Bakau, Serakunda. And so I think after school I started as a journalist actually at Radio Gambia. For some years, then I went to the civil society. Yes. So I spent most of my time within the media and the civil society. Yes. Okay. I may have branched off a little bit into international, areas and even into public sector. Well, Radio Gambia was public sector anyway. So
that is it.
And that's it. And I continue to do what I do.
Okay, let's browse through a little bit on the educational background or qualification, if you like.
So I went to school again, because of the Gambia at the time. I went to university after school. Secondary school in the Gambia, to University of Sierra Leone. At this popular college called Farabe College. Yes, but then Sierra Leone was been in war for a long time also, and at one point that disrupted that. So I had to move to Ghana, University of Ghana. So I spent some time in Ghana, to do my first degree, and years later I went to university in the Netherlands to do my master's. In international human rights law. Wow. So but that's it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's Madi Jobarteh on Atlantic TV.
Yeah.
The home of TV Revolution. Exclusive interview. Yeah. Now, many will doubt, what is Madi's work or job? Can you tell us actually what's your work? What work do you do?
Yeah. So since October 2024. I set up a human rights organization called the Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice. Mm-hmm. I'm sure many Gambians, would know the name Edward Francis Small, who I consider the father of Gambian independence, but also a pioneering activist, human rights activist, workers' rights activist, farmers' rights activist, a journalist, and so on. So this organization is named after Edward Francis Small, and it came about after a long reflection on my work and the work of the civil society and the state of the Gambia, to come to realize that at the end of the day, what has been missing in the governance and development process of the Gambia since independence has been accountability, and when you look at it, accountability also is what is at the heart of development, governance, human rights, social justice, and so that at the end of the day, if there is no accountability, we cannot determine whether we are making progress or failure. And without accountability, there cannot be development. Human rights protection. We cannot know whether that's human rights violation or protection. Without accountability, we cannot even know what are the obligations of those who need to have the obligation to the duty to perform, to deliver. But we may not also know what are the rights to be protected. So accountability, distinguishes things so that we know, whether we are moving left or right. So I've come to realize this has been the missing link in our development process. And until we address the issue of accountability, this country is already 60 years old. We may, move for another 60 years. And what the indications are showing is that, in fact, it will be worse. because when you look at it, after 60 years, poverty seems to be increasing in this country. Deprivation, inequality, injustice, all right, unemployment, cost of living seem to be increasing, are higher today than in 1965. So that if this trend should continue, you wonder what would happen in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years. So in realization of that, I thought, and something that I have actually advocated for, I have pushed for within the civil society, as much as I can. But I felt there wasn't the kind of awareness or commitment, or, within the civil society, within the government society, about the value of accountability. So, since I felt, well, if I can get Big Sam come along, see my point, and so on, then why don't I set up, my own, and pursue that vision. So this is what informed the creation of the Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice. So that we, when I established it, I founded it on 5 pillars, which are all human rights, principles and standards.
That is Edward Francis Small.
Yeah, the Edward Francis Small Center, yes.
Okay.
So the center is founded on 5 pillars.
Okay.
The first pillar is freedom.
Okay. The
idea of freedom. But let me say, freedom, because people have to be free. Yes. The environment has to be free, so people are able to participate. Yes, and to participate in a way that without fear. Yes, particularly facing fear, reprisal from government or anyone else. But that environment freedom has to be, because development can only take place within freedom. If you look at, for example, before 2017 and after 2017, the fact that now we have Atlantic TV and many other media houses, because that's freedom.
Yeah, sure.
And the fact that Atlantic TV can have a conversation like this, because that is freedom.
Yeah.
So freedom enables people to create initiatives, to think, to be innovative, to be creative. You cannot be creative and so on without freedom. So it's based on that pillar of freedom. And then the pillar of equality. Yes, at the end of the day, we have to create a society where there's equality, between men and women, equality before the law, equality to be able to be in leadership, equality, to access opportunities, that people are not discriminated because they are from Farato, or they are from Boraba, or they are women, or they are persons with disability. Because as long as there is inequality, there will be inequality, exclusion, and so long that is the case, you will realize that our development as a people would be severely hampered, would be severely limited. So equality is so important that we have this. And all of this, the background, because these 5 pillars are also coming against our background, the history, our experiences, our cultural, religious, political framework as it is. You can see how they limit freedom, or how they limit equality. Now, so that is the second pillar. So the third pillar is empowerment.
Empowerment.
Yes, so that it is not just we promote equality, we remove discrimination, exclusion, make sure that there is equal participation and so on. But to be able to do that, and of course to strengthen that equality, there has to be empowerment, so that it is not EF Small Center, Edward Francis Small Center, or Madi Jobarteh, or Big Sam here, who should go and liberate the people. For example, people should liberate themselves. Yes, because sometimes you are not liberated, you are not free, you cannot participate, not because in fact somebody stopped you, but because of your own mentality, of your own thinking, because you feel, I'm powerless, I'm a woman, or I'm not part of the majority. I'm different from the majority. So sometimes you can limit yourself just by your own thinking. So empowerment, so targets the individual to, cleanse your mind. That look, you can, you can. So, but also it is to look at what are the obstacles to empowerment in society, and some of them are legal, some of them are political, some of them are religious. All right, that is preventing people from enjoying that equality and freedom. Right. So you look at it. Why are women not standing as president? No, we've seen from 2016. These two women came to Tassiti Toure, Marisok, but then you look at this country never had a woman president. You look at the parliament, the number of women are limited. Why political parties are not led by women? I mean, and so what are the level of participation of persons with disabilities, but also minorities, religious minorities, ethnic minorities, and so on, persons with disabilities. These are all part of our society, but you may find limitations in terms of participation, access, and so on. So empowerment therefore seeks to build the capacity of individuals, groups, but even institutions, to be free, to be equal, to participate, and so on.
Okay.
So these are all issues that we deal with in terms of empowerment. And then, of course, we are dealing with the issue of the fourth issue, transparency.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, there has to be information.
Okay.
Yes, particularly in terms of the government, the decisions they make or don't make, the actions they take or fail to take. The citizens have a right to know why. Because without the transparency, our participation in government would be difficult, because we would not know. All right.
So all these are pillars of the
pillars. That's the so transparency is the fourth pillar.
Okay.
Right. So as I said, it's information has to be provided. Government has to render account, explain to people, and people are interested to know what is government doing in their name, and for what and why and so on, which is very fundamental in terms of good governance, in terms of development, that people are aware. So that the final pillar is accountability. At the end of the day, government has to render account for the things they did. They have to take responsibility, for the things they do or did not do. But also the rest of society, when violations take place, there should be accountability. Yeah. When corruption takes place, there should be accountability. And, the rule of law, government must be seen to follow the rule of law, because without the rule of law, abuse of power takes place. And, government would exercise power in a way that can damage our interests. So that it is important that government is made to adhere to the rule of law, because without that, as I said, impunity would prevail. So that injustices would happen, violations would happen, corruption would happen, and then there is no justice. There is no accountability. And so what you would have is probably what we have right now. You look at the instances of corruption in the current government right now, and then there's no justice, there's no accountability. People who are corrupt, who have been found corrupt through official inquiries, are left, untouched. So that is impunity. And, if you know the damage that corruption causes in terms of human rights violations, in terms of development, in terms of access to services and so on, it denies all of these things. So that at the end of the day, what it generates, therefore, is more poverty. And this is why poverty is widespread in this country. You look at the even what the government says they are doing, look at the infrastructure they are doing. It's poor quality infrastructure because, one, it's a matter of transparency. How did you come to identify this company to build this road? Is it through a due process? Is that process competitive? Is that process, I mean, out in the public? All right. The decisions made, do we know? So we are in Farato, for example, and I happen to take the road from Jambur,
Okay.
you know, from the Jabang Highway,
Yeah.
and come through to Farato.
Yeah.
And I look at that road, and I'm like, who would build a road like this? Is this a new road? All right. I mean, because the road has no standards whatsoever
Okay.
in terms of what you would consider to be a road, built by a government. Now, who built this road? How much was this road built? What are the terms of, you know, the building of this road? So that you have a road like this, I'm sure you use that road. I mean,
Yeah,
but it's a horrible road.
Yeah.
And so there's no accountability. There's no transparency accountability. So what one can say that this Jambur Farato road is just a manifestation of corruption, blatant corruption and disregard of the rule of law.
So this is what you.
Yeah. So EF Small Center is founded on these 5 pillars.
Okay.
And you know, so that is the work I do. So that is work I have been doing.
Okay.
But now formalized into the EF Small Center, and part of our work is to therefore partner, collaborate with all individuals, institutions, organizations in the promotion of these 5 pillars, so that you know, we were partnering with Gala, for example, you know, as a youth activist group, anti-corruption organization, and we would want to continue to collaborate with them, because what they do fits very well within our 5 pillars.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Wow, there you got it. I tell you, today we have a very interesting. That's why I have to be on to get Madi here. Okay, many people know Madi as a human rights activist. What can you tell us about that? What is your work related to that, or what do you normally look into that human right?
well, the whole essence of our country
Okay,
as a republic is about human rights.
okay,
The whole idea about independence is about human rights.
okay,
As you know, this country, or this part of Africa, like the rest of Africa, was colonized by some people,
yeah,
you know, the British. And during the colonization period, we were treated as less human beings.
yeah,
We were exploited. They made us pay tax, but then we do not benefit from that tax. They made themselves the decision makers of the land, but we, the people of the country, do not determine, elect them, or who should be the decision makers. And they decide according to their wish, not according to our wish or our will. So that when you look at the whole idea of colonialism, the whole practice of colonialism is a dehumanization exercise, a human rights violation exercise. And that realization is why somebody like Edward Francis Small began a protest over 100 years ago. No taxation without representation. That, you know, we will not pay tax if we don't elect or determine who should represent us, who should manage our tax money. So that's a human rights issue. He was standing against, you know, the colonialists, you know, to make sure farmers have fair price for their produce. You know, he was into journalism to, you know, I mean, expose the corruption, the abuse, you know, that governments were subjected to, and so on. So the whole idea, therefore, leading to our independence was a human rights struggle. That at the end of the day, as Gambians, we are human beings. All right, we, as anyone else, we have inherent human rights, you know, because we are human beings. But also we are Gambians, and being Gambian also provides us, you know, rights to be, you know, residents or citizens of this country. So it's on that basis we gain independence. We fought for independence. We gain independence to become a republic.
okay,
All right, so that in this republic, it's based on the principle of equality. that in this republic there are no superior or inferior Gambians. Yes, there are no better or not good Gambians. We are all equal. That's why the Constitution says in Section 1, subsection 2, that the sovereignty of the Gambia lies in the people of the Gambia.
Power to the people.
Yeah. So, and it says the government, they derive their legitimate authority from the people of the Gambia.
Okay.
It did not say from the people of Farato, or the people of Boraba, or the people of Banjul, or the people of Basse, or men or women, or, Mandinko, Fuller, or Jola. It says the people of the Gambia. So we are all equal, all right, and which is a fundamental human rights principle, that we are all equal in rights and dignity as citizens of this country. So that is the thing about human rights. We are in this world. There are international instruments, there are regional instruments at the level of Africa, all emphasizing rights, right to education.
Okay.
That we all have a right to education. We all have a right to health care. We have a right to electricity. So long as you are in this country, that is your right. You have a right to move around this country, and we elect people. Some people among us, few people, want to be a president, and 50-something, 3 people to be parliament, and we gave them the duty to manage our tax money, our resources of the country for us in a manner that upholds our should attend to us with respect. Yes, with respect, with compassion, all right, because we are the citizens. That is our right. We should accord to us. But beyond that, the way the health worker attends to us, also the equipment should be there, the drugs, so that what I come for at the hospital, I can achieve it. So if I cannot achieve that, and I live with pain, with sickness takes away your dignity. Like poverty takes away your dignity. Like torture takes away your dignity. So to the greatest extent possible, we should not be tortured. We should not be put in poverty. We should not be in sickness. And this is why we have the Republic of the Gambia. We create a government to make sure these things go away. Now, some of them, government cannot take them away like that. Like, to be healthy, you have a responsibility to be healthy, to live a healthy lifestyle. All right. If you don't do that, you can get sick. And government cannot come and, say sickness don't touch Big Sam. But then government creates the facility to make sure if you get sick, that malaria, you can come, and then we have a treatment for malaria. But you can get sick again. All right. Those things are there. But there are other things that government should not even do at all. That is, they should not torture you. Yes.
So those are all part of the human.
That's all part of the human. So, and these things are not just my opinion. These are in the laws of the Gambia, in the constitution and other laws of the Gambia. These are in human rights instruments at the level of the African Union of Africa that the Gambia government has ratified. These are in international instruments, UN human rights instruments, that the Gambia also has ratified as a member of the UN. So that all of these things at the domestic level, at the regional level, at the international level, they put obligation on the Gambia government to protect human rights. So when I hear people say activist, Madi Jobarteh, human rights activist, Big Sam, what I like to tell people, everyone should be an activist.
Okay.
Because activism is about standing against injustice, standing against oppression, against torture, against corruption, against environmental destruction, against anything that is not good. That is what activism is. To stand for what is right, what is just. So that when you look at it, it is strange. Sometimes I say people call me an activist because everybody should be an activist. The president should be an activist. The National Assembly member should be an activist.
Yeah.
You know, the journalist should be an activist. Yes, the doctor should be an activist. I mean, the farmer should be an activist because I'm sure you don't love corruption.
Of course, no.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't like torture.
No, never.
And you would condemn torture. And you don't like poverty.
Sure.
And you stand against poverty.
Yeah.
So therefore you are an activist.
In a way.
Not in a way. Directly, you are an activist. Unless you tell me, no, me, I love corruption.
No, nobody does.
I love. So therefore, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you are standing for what is right. And at that moment, that is what activism.
The truth.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and that is activism. So, you know, so when people say Madi Jobarteh, human rights activist, okay, I'm like, okay, but let us not say it as if Madi has been appointed as activist, or Madi was elected as activist, or Madi went to train as an activist, or something. No, because nobody has to train to be an activist. Nobody has to be trained. Nobody has to be appointed or elected to be an activist. Activism is awareness of your responsibility as a human being, as a citizen, that on this earth, and even our religion, that is what it enjoins. Our religion, Islam or Christianity, it enjoins, it, you know, requires us to be an activist, because it requires us to stand for justice. That's what our religions demand of us.
Right.
That's our culture demand of us.
Okay, Madi, I think I'm getting this signal from God, but this is the most important point, I think, or before we close this. As a human, like you said, we all, to be honest, what you explain here, we all want to be part of it, to be honest. Okay, as a human rights activist, or let's say the one that is standing for the truth, and with this wonderful center that is Edward Francis Small Center for Rights, and what will be, before we go, what's the most important message? Because this is the point that I want my viewers to definitely get positively. What will you be, because you are working as a human rights activist, what will be your most important message to my viewers out there?
Yeah, so at EF Small Center, we say transparency and accountability are the foundations of justice. And as I said earlier, the missing link in the development and the governance of the Gambia, the reason there is so much poverty and corruption, all right, and unemployment and high cost of living and all these problems we face, is simply because there is almost no transparency and accountability in the government of the Gambia since independence until today. And on one part, on the other side, freedom, equality, empowerment has been limited in the people, so that people are not free. There's a lot of exclusion, marginalization. There's a lot of disempowerment. People not having the political awareness, the ability to stand up for themselves, to demand, defend their rights, to demand services. All right. So, because of that, we have this situation that we have in this country. So our message to people really is to stand up for transparency and accountability. If we fail to do that, if we fail to do that, I do not see how we can make progress, honestly. So I would encourage everyone, every government, anywhere you are, to begin to ask the questions, really, and ask government the questions, because government is the institution, is the body responsible for the management of the Gambia. So anything that goes right or wrong is squarely in the hands of government. The corruption we have in this country right now is because of government. It's only government that can solve it or continue to perpetuate it. The poverty in this country is because of government. The policies, the laws, the performance of the institutions is why we are getting poor. You know, the unemployment, the high cost of living, because government is in charge of the laws, of the institutions, of the policies, you know, so determine what happens today in this in the studio, in fact. So this is what governments got to realize, so that people begin to stand up to demand transparency and accountability. I think that would be my message.
Thank you so much, Mr. Madi. And definitely, I have to get this gentleman not going for work to stop here and share this wonderful and brilliant interview with you people out there, and then he will leave for the work. In fact, you have a meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for honoring my invitation.
Thank you.
And in fact, we all live in West Coast, but you have me before you.
You know, I mean,
thank you so very much.
Thank you.
On that note, thank you so much, wonderful viewers, wherever you are. That ends a wonderful, I mean, one of my favorite, of course, that is exclusive interview with Madi Jobarteh, the executive director of Edward Francis Small, of course, Center for Rights and Justice, and also a human rights activist. From me, Big Sam International, Bakary Manneh will bring you more on the exclusive interview here on Atlantic TV. Thanks to the staff and management, the CEO, my wonderful cameraman right here, Edward Nuhad Baji, and the studio engineer out there. That is the one and only Matar. From me, Big Sam, bye till we come again. Atlantic fofu nonu naka professional anything li ngeen ñol ci walum xarañ ñom ñoo fi gëna ak quality professional standard recording studio mu ngi fa fofu nonu bokay pour sen voice record ya xamne artist nga buga nga ñoo nga record lepang fa live band instrumental records la lepang fa mix ak master a lepp li nga sola danaka ñu ngi ubbi bes bu nekk bu len faté tamit am nañ sound system bu mag di Atlantic Sound International pour lepp li ngeen sola sen ciéti sen genté open events am na ci togu ak stage concert yamu ci lol Atlantic TV ñu ngi fofu nonu naka pour sen live coverage video shooting la photo shoot manam printing ak lepp li nga soxla dal di télévision di def ñu ngi leen ko defal yegal ñu tay su tanka di sey ci Farato manam dendo Farato juma bi mbite nga téléphone 3690787 3690787 pour Atlantic Media House lepp li ngeen soxla taxaw na tem